episode number 83 with Carlos Welch. Welcome to the Heads Up Poker Podcast. This is Steve Barton, and I'm here with
Carlos Welch.
What is up, man?
Not much, man. I'm glad to be here at the World Series of Poker.
Yes. I am on my last day here, and I just had a hell of a run. Just got out of the Rio deep stack, the 235 buy-in, and just out of 1,025 players, I got 11th. And so I'm bittersweet. I got, that was a hell of a run. That was fun.
12 solid hours of poker.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's 2:15 in the morning right now. We started at 2 o'clock, so basically exactly 12 hours. But how's that? Fill everyone in. How's your summer going?
It's been going pretty good. I haven't played. I haven't had much run good live. I've played maybe 7 or 8 tournaments, and I got 11th in a Binions tournament. But other than that, I haven't cashed anything. But I have had some good results online. I won a 12K on Bovada for like $3,500.
Nice.
And I won a 1K seat on a WSOP.com satellite, and I just sold the Lammer, so I got $1,000 for that. And then I got second in another satellite online for $800. So online went really well. In fact, I played another satellite today and got down to 4-handed as a chip leader in a spot that was given 2 seats, and I went out 4th. So I just basically bubbled another 1K seat on WSOP.com. So, man, online is going great. Live, not so much.
Not so much, no. Yeah. I haven't played a single hand online here. I don't really get to play live MTTs at my place. I mean, I could play them at the casino down the street, but the structure's just not worth it. You know, I'd just much rather play live when I get the chance here. But yeah, that was fun. My bust out hand. We kind of talked about it briefly, but we were down to 6 players at my table and 5 at the other one. So final table bubble, and I had 13 big blinds. It folds to the button. He was an active guy. I was actually outside with him about 20 minutes ago, and we were talking. His name is Frank, and he was fairly active. And we're recording right now at one of the WSOP rooms right now, so we got some background noise, but I'm sure you guys hear that. But anyways, he was pretty active. I'd seen him raise from the cutoff and the button and fold to 3 bets. So he opens, and I look down at King 7 offsuit, and I've got all these lines in my head going through about king blockers and 13 big blinds, and I thought this might be a pretty good reshove hand here. And so I ship it in, and he snap calls. It shows 2 9s, and I caught a 7 on the flop, but no help on the turn and river, and GG, 11th place.
Were you big blind or small blind?
I was big blind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another thing is, do you know how close you were to the levels going up?
We were, when the next, no, we were 25 minutes.
Okay.
Long ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I like the spot in this tournament because it's so top heavy.
Yeah.
That you have to play for first in this tournament. And even like, once you get to the final table, I don't think the ladder, like the pay jumps are that big. So there's really like not a huge difference between like 11th and say like 7th or 8th.
Yeah.
And so with 30, so this tournament had 33K up top. So I think playing for the win is probably the right strategy in this type of tournament.
Okay. You know, there was one hand before. There was this Israeli guy that was extremely active. Mm-hmm. He'd been 3-betting quite a bit. I got lucky against him on. I had ace-7 suited. He opened. I shoved for 10 bigs. He'd been opening like every other hand.
Mm-hmm.
I looked down at ace-7 suited. I'm like, this is freaking gold compared to what his range is. And so I shoved my 10 bigs. He snapped calls. He had either ace-queen or ace-king, but I got lucky and hit a 7 on the flop. And after that, he was kind of tilted towards me. So I had the dynamic going.
Right.
And then he lost a hand. He had ace-king. A guy shoved. He opened in the small blind. A guy shoved from the big blind. He snap called with ace-king. The other guy had queen-10 off. He hit a 10 on the turn, and after that, all he could see was red. He was just tilted. And so I was like, "Oh, this is perfect." He's trying to punt. Like I could see it. I could feel it. Everyone at the table could feel it. And so I opened with king-jack suited a few hands later, knowing that if this guy ships it, I had I think 1.5 mil at the time, and he had half a mil. And I'm like, I'm calling anything that he shoves here.
Right.
And he, sure enough, he looked down, he ships it. And I think for a little bit, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm calling. So I call. Mm-hmm. And he shows king 10. The run out is 3-3-3, turns like a 7, and then the river's king, so we split.
Right.
After that, his mind frame was a little bit different. It was like he saw that he survived, and after that he started playing better. So I was like, man, I just missed my opportunity to take him out right there. But so, anyways, the hand just before my bust out hand, I had 15 bigs. I was under the gun. I looked down at ace-3 off, and I raise it. And then he looks at his cards. He takes just a second, and then he says all in. And it folds back around to me, and now I'm at a decision here. Do I call with a weak unsuited ace against his reshove?
No, I don't think that's even close to a call.
No, okay.
Even with him being tilted, even if he's shoving like 5-4 off, he's in good shape. You know, he's not in that bad shape against you.
Okay.
So like, there's really no hand that he can turn over that you're going to be happy with.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Even ace deuce. Ace deuce is going to be a chop most times.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. So that was probably a good fold.
Right.
But that was a fun run, man. That was a fun run. I got a couple of hands here from earlier in the tournament. If you want to run over them.
Okay.
Okay. All right. The first one, I've got ace king. This is second level. Blinds are 5,100. I've got ace king under the gun +1.
Okay.
UTG, so blinds again are 5,100. UTG opens to 425, so he makes a little bit more than 4x. I make it 1,200.
Right.
UTG +1. Middle position, flat calls the 1,200. He looks at his cards. He thinks for a little while, and then he flat calls. Then UTG calls the 1,200. So we got 3,750 in the pot. Mm-hmm. And the flop is king of diamonds, 10 of diamonds, 3 of clubs. So we flop top pair. We don't have a diamond. But that's where we're at. UTG checks into 3,750. I make it 1,625. What are you thinking about sizing? Is that?
Yep, it's about half pot. That's what I would do.
Okay. All right. I make it 1,625. Middle position makes it 4,200. Then under the gun shoves for 15K.
I would fold here. Primarily because the first guy, or the guy who made it 40, you said 42?
42, yeah.
Yeah, the guy who made it 42, his range should be pretty strong for flatting, under the gun open, and then we 3-bet from early position. And what position was he in?
He was in middle position.
Yeah. And then he just flats that with a lot of people behind. His range should be super strong. So, I mean, I know we block aces and kings, but he could be slow playing those, or something like tens, which is a set now. It's like, I really can't think. Basically, he's never doing this with like king queen.
Yeah.
And he could have a flush draw, or he don't have many flush draws because like 7-6 suited, he's not flatting that in that spot.
Yeah.
And do we know? You said there's 2 diamonds on the board. Was the ace a diamond?
No,
it
it
was
was
the king. The king was on the board. Was the king of diamonds?
King of diamonds, 10 of diamonds,
Yeah.
3 of clubs.
So with a king of diamond being on the board, that blocks a lot of the diamond draws. So he can't have ace king, king queen, king jack of diamonds. So a lot of the Broadway diamonds that he may flat there, they don't exist because of the king on the board. So like, I guess queen jack of diamonds is possible, ace jack of diamonds, I guess. But other than that, there's not many diamond combos he can have, and he's not doing with a weaker queen. So to me, his range looks a lot like sets and like either ace king or like kings or aces that he slow played pre-flop.
Yeah.
And the first guy, and so given how strong that guy's range is, when the other guy comes over the top, his range is like incredibly strong too. He has more, I think, flush draws in his range because he opens, we 3-bet, the other guy calls, so he's getting a good price when it gets back around to him. So he's more likely to have a flush draw, and it's probably a pretty big flush draw if he's playing it this fast into that kind of heat. So yeah, for the first guy, he may be less likely to slow play with kings or aces. So I'm putting the guy who shoves the 14K or 15K or whatever, putting him on something like 10s, 3s, or probably a pretty big flush, like nut flush draw, like a combo draw, something like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, ace king is in trouble against those 2 ranges, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. Okay, I took about 15 seconds or so, and then I folded. And then the other guy, the middle position, he calls. And middle position has my hand. He's got ace king. And under the gun had ace queen of diamonds for the gut shot, the nut flush draw. And yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't get that one. But I thought, I think you're right. Against, especially middle position was the guy I was worried about.
Yeah.
And when under the gun shoves, I was like, oh man, this hand is just going from fucking bad to worse. So I'm out.
They're both actually at the bottom of their range, and you're still not in good shape.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like so given that you're chopping,
I think ace king there was the worst that middle position was going to have.
Right.
Yeah.
Other than the 1 or 2 combos of flush draws he could have, but as far as made hands, nothing worse than ace king. And even ace king is a little iffy. Like a lot of people would just call that with ace king. So even that, his range is really strong in that spot.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what I would call with there. Like if I have aces here, what do I do?
I was thinking of even folding aces.
Yeah. To that type of action, I may get rid of aces. At the end of the day, it's just one pair.
Yeah.
And
you still have almost your starting stack.
Right. And it's like you got time to and so you're so early, like you really don't have reads on these guys yet or anything.
No.
Yeah. I'm definitely folding ace king, and I would strongly consider folding aces in this spot.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Right on. Okay. Then later on, we're at blind levels are 200, 400. Under the gun +1 makes it 1,200.
Okay.
I'm on the button. I look down at 2 blackjacks. Our stack right now, hero stack is 30K.
Okay.
Okay, so I make it 3,000. It goes to under the gun +1, and he makes it. He pretty quickly makes it 12K. And now it's back on us. We got 30K behind.
You made it. What did you make it?
Well, blind levels are 2-4.
He made it 12.
He made it 12.
3.
I made it 3,000,
He made it 12.
And he made it 12K.
Was his stack?
His stack, he's got me covered. I think he's got about 40, 50K. I have 30.
I fold.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I did. I folded.
Yeah. I wouldn't 3-bet in the first place, though.
Really?
You basically turning jacks into a bluff. And, I mean, you can get called by worse. But, like, when his range, if you don't know anything about him, his range from there should be pretty strong. And I don't want to 3-bet fold jacks. So I'm going to flat with it. And I'm not just set mining, but A, trying to keep the pot small, and B, preventing myself from getting 4-bet off of it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know, after I 3-bet, I thought to myself, I was like, maybe this is a great spot to call.
Yeah. Because you got like a little bit more than 70 bigs, I think.
Yeah. So
you don't want to 3-bet, get it in pre, unless you know the guy's crazy.
Yeah.
And so if I have a hand that I don't want to fold to a 4-bet, I'll just flat with it.
Okay.
And basically what you do is you strengthen your flatting range, because if you're not flatting with jacks there, then generally your flatting range is going to be kind of weak.
Okay.
Like, if you're not flatting jacks, you're probably not flatting queens plus either.
No.
What are you doing with tens?
Actually, I'm probably flatting tens there.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I kind of lump jacks in with tens in that regard, and like maybe even queens. I may even just flat queens, because again, if I 3-bet and he 4-bets, I don't know what I'm going to do. Yeah. I do know what I'm going to do. I'm going to fold, and I don't want to do that, so I'll just flat and play with it post flop. Okay. Was this were the antes yet?
200, 400. I think the antes kick in at 3-6.
Okay, so yeah, it definitely, if there's no antes, I'm definitely not 3-betting.
Okay. Okay.
But once you 3-bet and he 4-bets, especially to that size, you just have to fold.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because he made it 4 times what I did, and I'm like, I either got to shove here or I got to fold. And I'm like, Jacks is yeah, that was bad. I asked him later. He went out, I think, like 25th or something. And when he went out, I was like, dude, what'd you have when you 4-bet me there? And he's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, 8 hours ago. And he's like, oh, I had ace king suited. Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. I thought that was probably the worst he would do it with.
Yeah, ace king is about what I put him on. And
I don't think he's doing that with ace queen or tens.
No, he's definitely not doing with ace queen. I doubt tens either. Like, I see people do stuff like that with, like, almost exclusively jacks and ace king, and sometimes something like queens plus. So your jacks is actually behind that range. Yeah. And so that's another reason, like, if he's the type of person who you think is opening like a legitimately tight range from under the gun, that's another reason to just flat pre.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay. Yeah, there was one other hand that I had that this was the levels were 5,100. Mm-hmm. I was in the under the gun limps. It was a lady that calling station. Mm-hmm. She limps under the gun. Folds around to me in the small blind. I complete with 10-2 suited. The guy to my left. I actually tweeted him. If you guys were following me when I was tweeting, he was the creeper guy with the Minecraft. You saw that one?
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was him. He checks. So we go to the flop.
There's a limp under the gun, and you're in the small blind with 10 deuce suited?
10 deuce of diamonds, yeah.
Okay, and we complete. He checks. Okay.
Yeah, big blind check. So there's 300 in the pot. Someone I can't remember who wanted me to talk about this on the podcast. It was kind of an interesting end. Okay. Anyways, so the flop comes down 7-3 ace. Okay. Comes down 7-3 ace. I check. Big blind checks. Under the gun checks. Okay. The turn is an ace. I check, big blind checks, under the gun checks, and the river's at 3. And so the board now is 7, ace, 3-3. Right? So we're playing high card. Yeah. Right? And so I check. The big blind, he bets 1 or 200. I can't remember. Mm-hmm. And the under the gun folds, and now it's back on us. He bet 100. That's what he bet. He bet 100.
Into what?
Into 300.
Yeah. And basically, we just have 10 high.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
aces and threes with a 10.
Either this is so early in the game. I'll probably just fold.
Okay.
He's not repping much, but it's so early in the game. Like my thought is to raise here, and that's I guess.
Check raise the river. I never thought of that.
That's possible because he's not repping much. I guess a 3 he's repping like a lot of aces he would raise pre, you would think, or he wouldn't check them all the way down like that. So he shouldn't be that strong. Feel like he's just trying to go for a steal, but so early in the game, I'm not really trying to play above the rim like that. So I may just fold.
Okay.
If I had like queen high, I would probably call.
Okay. My logic was this guy was super active. He was doing things like raising 9-7 suited under the gun. He was playing very well. He was able to call down certain players with like a second to bottom pair.
Right.
And just real active. And to me, when he bet like that, it felt like he didn't have anything. So anyways, I flick in a chip, and 10 high was good. My cutoff actually was 9. Right. I figured 9 and above I'm calling, 8 and below I'm folding. Right. But anyways, I flick it in. So
did he show his hand?
He did actually, because I just flicked in the chip, so he had to turn his hand over.
Right.
And he had, I think, like 5-4 or something like that. So he was playing the board.
So did he have any type of like gutter or flush draw or something like that missed?
Let's see. If he had 5-4 and the board was 7-3, yeah, I guess he did. He did have a gutter to a 6 that missed. Yeah,
he waited until
the river.
I mean, had he bet it like on any other street,
he would have won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an interesting spot.
Yeah. But so that was an interesting end.
Yeah.
But man, I'm getting ready to. I got to go to sleep tonight and then head out tomorrow. This has been a fun trip. This has been a blast hanging out with the TPE guys.
Yeah.
I was with you guys last night at PTs. Yeah.
Got a chance to hang out with Daryl Jace. I met him for the first time like maybe a week before that.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, Daryl's really cool, and Killenberg, always have a good time with him. And the other guys that are staying at the TPE house who aren't TPE guys, but they're part of the family.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I've been here 30 days, and I still got like another 2 weeks to go.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, loving it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm jealous. I've been here. This is day 8 or 9. I can't remember. Mm-hmm. It must be 9 because I got 9 nights at my Airbnb.
Yeah.
And I got to go back. It's time to pay the piper.
Yeah.
I'm driving back tomorrow, and then I got to go back to work on the 9th. And but yeah, this has been a fucking blast. I guess I'm break even now. I won $21.65 for 11th place, and I've basically had $2,000 worth of buy-in, so I'm probably up $100 or something like that. So
which says a lot for what I always tell people about, man. Leave the Rio and go play some of these smaller events around town because you could cash something for $2,000 and that could get you back to even.
Yeah.
Whereas if you play the Rio, and bust several of these tournaments, you're going to be down 5 figures.
Yeah. True. Yeah. I did play at where else did I play? I played Caesars last night. Mm-hmm. And then all the other tournaments were basically the ones that you recommended. The Binions, that was a good one. Yeah, we were both playing that one.
Yep, that was the best tournament I ever played in my life.
Oh, my God, that was awesome. Yeah. It was so good.
Best tournament I ever played in my life.
Oh, the first table I got, it was a six max tournament. And we got...
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, we're talking about 2 different tournaments.
Oh, we are? Okay.
Yeah, that one was fun, too, though. This was a 6 max. The one that I'm talking about was a $500 buy-in tournament at Binions. Had hour start levels. You started with, I believe, $50K.
Oh, my God.
Which is like 500 big blinds.
Oh, wow.
Hour levels. You didn't skip any of the levels. And the players were horrible. So it's like the standard Binions group, the same group from the 6 max.
Yeah.
Except much better structure and more chips and playing for more money.
Yeah.
So you can imagine, like, everything that was good about a 6 max, there was this, but better.
But better?
Yeah.
Wait, was it 9 players or 10 or?
I don't know. It's either 9 or... It
9
might
or
have
10.
been 10.
It wasn't
a
a 6 max though.
No, it wasn't
okay.
6 max.
Okay. Yeah, that was fun. It because I'd played a few. I think I'd played like 1 deep stack so far, and then I played like 1 other tournament. I don't remember where it was. Maybe I played 2 deep stacks, and then I went to Binions, and I'm like, oh man, this is where I first started playing poker, like 12 years ago or whatever it was at Binions, and nothing has changed in 12 years.
Right.
It's all retired people
Yeah.
that live there, and they play really tight. And they only 3-bet if they've got it. So,
Right. Yeah.
But they fold to 3-bets all the time.
Yeah. And so you can only imagine how much better it is playing against a person like that in a 6 max tournament.
Yeah.
Where you're supposed to be slightly more aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
But they don't adjust.
They don't adjust at all, no. I ended up, I had the dream table. I was by far the youngest person at the table. I'm 36, and I don't think there's anyone, everyone was like double my age, at least,
Yeah. That's millions for you.
Oh yeah, I think I had an interesting hand though. I had 8-7 of hearts. I raised, the big blind calls, and the flop comes down 5-6 of hearts, 7 of diamonds. Mm-hmm. So I flopped top pair with an open-ended straight flush draw. Mm-hmm. We got into a raising war and basically got it all in. And it turned out she had queen 4 of hearts. So there goes a whole shit ton of my outs. But I am ahead because I got a pair of 7s.
Right.
But she had one of my nut outs. The turn was a queen. And then the river was a blank. And good game.
Right.
And and then I bought right back in. I went right back, paid another $250, got at another table. And now I'm with the guys that had just... had late regged like an hour.
Right.
And they were I sit down and every pot was 3-bet. The second pot that I was in there was 4-bet, and the guy showed like king jack off, and the other guy obviously folded jacks or 10s or something, after tanking. And I'm like, man, I want to get back to that first table. And it kind of made me wonder, I'm like, when you're at a table that is so soft like that one was, should I have really like got all in there with the 8-7 of hearts,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was pretty. It depends on how deep you were.
We were pretty freaking deep. We were like 150 bigs deep.
Yeah.
And all I could see was straight, open-ended straight flush draw, and I'm like, I'm just going. I got to be a favorite, even against aces or a set here.
Right.
You're 50-50 or whatever, and I'm like, and I just went with it.
For that size stack, I wouldn't be looking to get it in, even though I'm a favorite. I mean, the good thing about being a favorite in that scenario, that means you have like so many cards that are good for you on the turn and river. So, like, I'd rather see the turn and river because I know more than likely it's going to be good for me.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily need to get it in there, especially for that many chips. So, I'm definitely going to not get it in there if I got ace high because there's some type of showdown value associated with that where I can even if the action gets too heavy on a flop like that, maybe the person just has like another flush draw, which means my ace high is good. In your case, you had the 7, which is even better.
Yeah.
Because now you beat like the ace high, like this, she's playing this like she could possibly have the ace high flush draw.
Yeah.
In which case, I may just check call it down 3 streets with my 7, even if the flush misses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Once I got to that other table, I'm like, damn, I want to go back to the other one. Because it was just like one guy was apparently the best player in Italy, and the other guy was like, they were just all foreigners and aggressive as shit. And there was one like local pro that everyone came up to her and they're like, oh, are you playing in the 5K? She's like, yeah, I'm just getting warmed up here. I'm like, oh my God, can I get the other table again, please?
Yeah. I was sitting next to you, just loving life with the table I had.
Yeah.
So, if you ever play at Binions, try not to bust your first table.
Yeah. And
that's the moral of the story.
Register early. That way you're not late regging with anyone that's,
right.
sleeping in.
Right. Yeah.
Sleeping in until 2 in the afternoon. Yeah. So, That was that one. Then I end up, by some act of God, I end up doing really well at that table. I think the starting stack was 30K, and I ground that up to 41, and then we finally busted. I was like, oh, thank God. Then I go to another table.
The table broke.
The table broke, yeah. And then I was seated next to Trisha Cardner, and then I had a hand that was kind of interesting. I talked about it a little bit on the last podcast, but my bust out was King 10, and the cutoff open. She was pretty active, and then I looked down at King 10, and I think King Queen there I'm flatting, Ace King I'm 3-betting, Aces Kings I'm 3-betting, and King 10 I figured was a good 3-betting hand, and so I 3-bet. She calls, and then the flop comes down. It was like King 8-3 or something, like King blank blank. And she leads out. I call, and then the turn is another blank. It's like a 2, and then she goes all in. I call, and she had King Queen. I'm like, that was kind of an odd line to take with King Queen there. Because if I'm in her shoes with King Queen, I'm always checking.
Yeah. Usually when people lead out, I put them on like weak top pairs, like at least like inexperienced people, or but the stacks must have been kind of shallow. Like she was
I had 30 bigs. She had like 40.
Yeah, so I don't think like even if you know what type of range she has, I mean the only thing you could do is fold, but it's tough to do that once you blow to the pot.
On top of that, you got top pair.
Yeah, that's what I was having a conversation with somebody else. Is like I get myself in trouble when I'm 3-betting light, and then I make top pair a bad kicker and go broke with it when I'm like, it's like in this case, like if you think about what hands she could be doing that with, they're all ahead of King 10. Yeah. So it feels like, if you really think about the range, you should fold, but then you're like, I can't fold once I blow to this pot and hit top pair, even though my kicker's bad. So I don't know the answer to those spots, but I'm starting to lean toward the answer maybe to fold at some point. And like, was there like a flush draw there or something?
There was a flush draw. There was a diamond draw.
I mean, so if you think she's the type of person that would just bet shove with like a flush draw, then I guess you can call, but like usually like before you said the hand, I'm thinking something like King Jack, King 10 would be the type of hand I would put somebody on when they dunk into me with top pair. When they dunk into me is like a weak top pair, and we're not even doing good against that range. I wouldn't have thought King Queen like you. I would be check calling with King Queen. Yeah. But yeah, unless this is the type of person who can do that with a flush draw, then it may be a fold, as sick as that sounds. But I just don't know. Okay. I don't, because I go broke in those spots a lot. I don't know the right answer.
Yeah, Mark, I asked the TPE guys, and Mark said, like, any king. He's all, I don't care. He's like, because you're 3-betting there with King Deuce, King 3, like all the king blockers and stuff. He said, any king, you got to go with it. And I'm like, 30 bigs? And he's like, yeah. He's like, with a flush draw out there, that she could have a flush draw. And really, like, when are they normally leading into you like that? With a king, most people would check it there. So if they're leading, maybe 9s, 10s, jacks, stuff like that would make sense. Any weak ace would make sense. Like any weak ace flush draw, the only chance they have, or any weak ace that like missed, the only chance they have to win is to bet. I'm like, maybe he's right. I don't know. Yeah. I did pick up a tell on her though, and it was when she bet the flop. She kind of raised up in her seat a little bit. You know how people kind of lean in when they're excited and they got a good hand?
Right.
I saw it today perfectly with a guy to my left that had kings.
Right.
And I was able to fold ace queen there.
Right.
And, he just, like his elbows were on the table, he was leaning in. She wasn't quite doing that as exaggerated as he was, but she definitely did like sit up and lean in. And that was, I think, a tell that, but still I kept going in my head and I'm like, am I really going to fold top pair here?
Right.
Like, can I really do that? And I couldn't.
Yeah, it's tough to do. That's one thing that confuses me to this day. So hopefully within the next, couple of weeks or months, I can get more comfortable in those spots. And not to get into a long discussion of it, but in the similar spot to that is when I defend the big blind with a wide range and I flop top pair bad kicker. And like, am I just supposed to check call 3 streets with this and go broke?
Yeah.
Or like, you know, I defend with like king 7 suited and the flop comes king high. Am I supposed to call bet? I just don't know when to let it go when I hit.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know.
Those ones I usually go by tells. That's kind of my deciding point is, you know, when I defend, like you said, like king 9 or something and you hit a king, I go by feel. And sometimes I call them down and other times, and patterns too, you know, like if you've seen them like, you know, fire off with the middle pair or something like that on ones like that, then I'm calling them down. And if they've been pretty tight, then I might call 1 street, maybe 2 if they fire twice, and third one I'm probably folding. But that's my at least live. I usually try to go by just how I feel. You know,
that spot's a little bit easier to let go than the first one, because once you 3-bet, there's so much out there. Like, you know, it's hard to let it go at that point.
Yeah,
kind of get yourself committed. So,
yeah.
I don't know, man.
It's a fun game.
Yeah.
It's a fun fucking game.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on your deep run tonight. I know, like you said, it's bittersweet, but it's good to get back to even on the trip. Like, there's a lot of people going to be leaving this town in the red.
Yeah, that's true. I was going to be in the red, and this basically paid for my trip, and I got to play poker for 9 days, and I don't know how many hours, probably 70, 80 maybe at least. And it was fun. It was fun.
Good.
It was good. But anyhow, do you want to thank you everyone who's following on Twitter and sweat me and everything. And if you hear a vibration throughout this podcast, it's because everyone's liking all the tweets and stuff that Carlos and I have been putting out on the while it's going on. So thank you guys. And you want to plug your Twitch stream?
Yeah. So my Twitch channel is twitch.tv/Carlos Welch. Yep.
Right on. And then your Twitter?
Twitter is Hip Hop 101 Trivia.
Hip Hop 101 Trivia, right on.
Yep.
Good deal. We'll throw links in the show notes. So
sweet.
Yeah. And thank you guys for tuning in. Here is your weekly motivational speech.
I live my life wrong, and I don't want this to happen to you. If you listen and take evasive action, I can help you change your future. The following few moments may very well change your life, and I wish someone had told me this when I was your age. Money is not evil by itself. It's just paper with perceived value to obtain other things we value in other ways. If not money, what is evil, you may ask? Evil is the unquenchable, obsessive, and moral-bending desire for more. Evil is the bottomless, soulless, and obsessive-compulsive pursuit of some pot of gold at the end of some rainbow which doesn't exist. Evil is having a price tag for your heart and soul in exchange for financial success at any cost. Evil is trying to buy happiness again and again until all of those fake, short-lived mirages of emotions are gone.